The life of a global crochet superstar, honestly. Right, take 2. Hello everybody and welcome to today's tutorial. So we're going to be doing something a little bit different today. I don't know if you know that I also sew and I also love books. So today we are going to be making a book sleeve. Now these book sleeves are perfect if you're like me and you take your book everywhere and you are quite precious about getting your covers or your pages bent. So these just pop in, it's fully lined and they are really simple to make and they keep your books looking in pristine condition. So if you want to see how to make this, just keep watching. So for this tutorial you are going to need a sewing machine. You can hand sew if you want, but I am not a fan of hand sewing. You are also going to need some stick and spray, so it's better to get the one that you can reposition. Some scissors, I've got 2 fat quarters, some pins, some bulldog clips and also some interfacing and something that you can use as a template. I'm just using a piece of A4 paper. So once you've got all your bits together, I will put a full list in the description box below, then we can start making. So once you have got all your bits together, what you will need to do is, I have just got a piece of, well it's not paper, I think it's one of those shrinky things. You know that you draw on it or whatever you put in the oven and it shrinks down. So I just use that because it's quite firm. You will need to cut out 2 pieces of your interfacing. Now this, I will put the link in the description box below. This is, I think it's inline R form. I can't remember. I will put the link for it. And you will also need your stick and spray. So once you've cut those 2 out, it's really easy. Just use your template of A4. I know A4 seems really big, but once we've seamed it, it comes up a little bit smaller. So then you need to mark out. So you want 2 pieces for your lining and you want 2 pieces for the outside of your book sleeve. So I'm too lazy to iron, I'm not gonna lie. So what I do is I just double mine. So you can either do it this way, you should do it this way really. So the right sides together, so the right side is always along the pattern. Selvage to selvage, so the ends along here where it comes off the loom, this is called the selvage. So if you fold it lengthways. And then we are just going to mark out our piece of A4, and then that just means you only need to cut it once because you've doubled it. Now feel free to pin this. I don't need to pin it because I'm normally quite good and I'm not actually that fussed about edges because it will be seamed and it's not clothing, so I'm not too precious about it. So if you want to pause the video and get cutting your 2 outside panels and your 2 lining panels, and I will meet you back when you are done. So I have just cut my 2 pieces of outside. So I'm going to put them to one side. I'm going to keep that because it's beautiful fabric and I'm sure I can make something from this. So this fabric is from an Inspirations Club box that Kirsten from Make and Do kindly sent me. I will put the link to her site. And it's like a monthly subscription box, it's really good. I do have a video, so I'll pop the link in the card section so you can see the unboxing video. And now I am going to move on to my lining fabric. This is why fat quarters are perfect. You can make so much with a fat quarter. And that is my 2 lining pieces finished. So we can get rid of this. I need a drink of tea, I'm a complete tea addict. Sorry, technical pause. Right, what you want to do now is grab your stick and spray. Your 2 outside pieces. Now if you've got fusible interfacing, which is where you iron it on, you want to iron your piece onto your fusible interfacing, but I'm too lazy to iron, so I use stick and spray. So I'm just going to move these out the way and spray them on. So when we spray them on, we want to make sure that you have your right side up. Now the way this fusible interfacing works, this interfacing works is that any side will do. So the good thing about this stuff, so this is stick and spray, is that it is especially for sewing, so it's repositionable. It's a temporary fix, which doesn't matter because obviously we're going to be seaming down the sides, and also it won't harm your fabric because it's acid free. So that's why this stuff is amazing. Sorry, my table's a bit creaky, I do apologise. So to spray this on, I would do it in a well ventilated area, but obviously, yeah. So we're just gonna line this up. And I should have ironed this, but I hate ironing. It's like, so you can just move it and kind of work the creases out. There we go. And that is now fully stuck. I'm just going to do the next one. If you have got a cutting mat, I will probably do it on a cutting mat. I'm just going to wipe this table off afterwards. So next one. So yeah, it is super easy. And that one is now done. So what we want to do now is attach our lining. So, lining time. What we're going to do is we're going to put these right sides together. So what you want to do is put the pattern, both the pattern sides facing each other, like so. So this is what it looks like underneath. So that's the pattern side, the right side you want, and that's going to be the front. So then you just want to pin, or what I find easier when using this interfacing, because it is quite thick, this fabric stabilizer, is you can just use some clips. And what we're going to do is we're just going to sew along, let me show you on this side, we're just going to sew along the top here on both our panels. So you want to grab your other one and do exactly the same. So make sure that your pattern, I didn't check actually, that's a good point, is, so obviously if it's pattern and it's like a linear pattern, you need to make sure that you are sewing this to the top of the pattern, because otherwise it'll be upside down. So obviously there's like castles and dragons, and you want to sew it to the top of this, because if I sewed it at the bottom, it'd end up upside down. So just make sure that you have it facing the right way round. And I'm just going to attach this one. Oh, this table! Like so, and the same, we're just going to sew a seam just across the top of this one. So if you want to pause the video and get sewing, you can either hand sew it if you haven't got a sewing machine, but I'm lucky that I have a sewing machine. So pause the video and I'll see you when we get back. So what we're going to do now, because this is going to be folded over like so, we're just going to cut down our seam and make it a bit smaller across here, and we're also going to clip our corners. So to clip your corners, just take it like so. It just means when you fold it over, it is a lot easier. And I'm just going to tidy up the top of mine, because the less bulk when you fold it over, the better, but don't go too close to the stitching. So that's what, I don't know if you can see it, so that's what that one looks like. And we shall get rid of these. And I'm just going to do it again on this one, so I'm just going to clip my corners and just trim this one down a teeny tiny bit, and there we go. So now what we're going to do is we are going to open up both of our pieces. So you want to put this one face up, so have the pattern facing you. And then the next one, if you open it up, and we are going to put this one face down, so the pattern on both is in the middle. And then what you want to do is we're just going to match up our pieces. So I always go for this seam here and I try to match it up, and because this fabric, this interfacing is quite thick, I'm going to use my and then I'm going to pin this fabric here because it's thin enough to pin. Now what we're going to do is we are going to sew, we're not going to sew this edge, so this edge is going to be left. So we're going to sew all the way down here, down here, down here, and down here, and we're going to leave this piece unworked. So let me grab my pin and pin these two bits. I'm a really lazy pinner as well, it's like too much effort to pin, honestly. I'm such a bad dressmaker. I don't iron, I don't pin, but it all turns out just the same. But because I'm doing a tutorial, I thought I'd better pin. So now, like I said, I am just going to sew straight down all the way around, and we're just going to leave this top edge here and work. So let's go, Daddy-o. You can make your seam allowance as large or as small as you want, but I tend to do like 3/8 for this because I don't want super bulky seams. Now you might have to push your fabric under the machine because obviously the interfacing is quite thick. So I'm just going to slow down. And then just on the corner, you don't have to take the needle out, you can just turn around the corner. So now this is what your piece of work should look like. And I'm just going to clip the corners and trim some of this down to get rid of the bulk. Like so. It just makes it easier. Get rid of that. Oh god, I'm breaking. I've named my Tinkerbell. My sewing machine is called Tinkerbell. I'm not the only one that's named my sewing machine because Angela has called her sewing machine Mintalicious, and Tinkerbell Mintalicious are in a sewing machine relationship. That's how crazy sewers are. So what you want to do is stick your hand into the opening, and we are going to turn this inside out. Or the right way round. So do not be scared, just get in there. And push it all through. I'm going to grab my scissors. This is not to cut anything. Please be careful if you do this because the amount of times that I've done this and put the scissors through the corner is unbelievable. So just poke your I'm so scared that I'm going to do it again. Better. And just give it a flatten. I mean, you can iron it if you want, but just check because some interfacing, especially if it's this thick stuff, it'll only take a cool iron because obviously it's foam and it'll melt the foam. So this is what your book sleeve looks like now. It is like a little bit of magic. So what we're going to do is we're just going to stitch this edge up here. It doesn't matter because obviously this is going to be in the inside of our book sleeve. So I am just going to fold it in on itself, just like so, so you don't have a raw edge. And I am just going to sew across that top bit there, and it'll close the opening. So I'm just going to do it like this because I can't bother to move the camera again. Do not lazy sew like Alexandra does. Do it properly. And you should pin it. Don't forget to back stitch, otherwise your work will come undone. I'm really lucky. This sewing machine is amazing, and it's got a stop-start button, so I don't have to use the pedal. So once you have sewed your top up, we are just going to stick it in there. Now this is the final bit, so obviously we don't want the fabric to keep popping up. So we're just going to top stitch around. So I am just going to secure my lining. So just give it a tug on the inside just to make sure it's not wrinkled on the inside. And I'm just going to clip round the top just to hold that lining in place while we sew it in. This is what I mean, clips are better because pins, trying to get through that phone, it's a bit of a nightmare. Now I'm going to start on the seam edge, so if you start here when you're top stitching, it won't be as noticeable. So I am just going to top stitch all the way around the top. So if you've got this on your machine, you can take this piece off because it makes it easier to top stitch around. And there you have your finished lined book sleeve. It really is that easy. You can feel free to hand sew it if you don't have a machine. You don't have to use the stick and spray, you can just use fusible interfacing and you can decorate it. So I might, because this was in my subscription box, inspirations box, so I might pop some of that round the top. So this is even really good if you want to sew with kids because it is just straight lines, straight cutting, straight stitching. It's honestly really super easy and it will keep your books nice and tidy. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos and I will see you again soon. Take care and happy sewing!